day. Hello and welcome to episode 39 of Rigor Mortis Paranormal. Tonight's episode includes Satanic Ritual in the Park, Demons Instead of Moths Attached to an Old Sweater, Ghost in a Jail Cell, and more ghastly tales from the RMP cast. I am David, this is Robert, Jasmine, Kory, Ian, and Jacob.
Hello!
Man, what an exciting week it's been, or a few weeks I should say. We've had so much happening.
Yeah, we've been kind of slow on some of our episodes, but we've just been so busy because of our favorite season.
Yep, Halloween. The first thing coming up is the Halloween episode. Robert was gracious enough to do a lot of interviews with a whole bunch of people from around the United States.
We got several. We got New York. We got Canada. We got
around the world. Like
we got
Canada's your favorite state?
well, we got stories from paranormal teams, ghost hunters, Chicago. Our own Midnight Paranormal Society, they were gracious to give us a story. And we have a book signing coming up. Not us, book signing, but we were invited.
Yeah.
We were invited to a book signing, and it was so awesome, man, because, Dave, give me
that was cool.
Man.
Yeah, well, the guy, Ben Longoria is his name. He's an author here in San Antonio, and
he gave us a story.
Oh, he gave us a story, too?
He gave us a story also.
Man, that's awesome, Rob. Rob got all that stuff together.
Yeah, he's having a book signing at the Twig here in San Antonio, and, that's going to be on Thursday, October 24th, 2019, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Our own Rigor Mortis Paranormal, he invited us as guests there.
That was cool.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, way cool.
Just put our name on the...
What's the book called?
Yeah.
Really tiny, but it's on there.
Oh, yeah. Well, he has several books. His new book that's coming out is called The Forest Around the Hill. He's written several books. One of them is called The Hounds of N Town, Hello Defiant. And he's got one called American Monsters. The Hermit is another one. And then he's got one called The Death Solar. But the one that he's coming out to get signed from the Twig is called The Forest Around the Hill. It's his new book.
Looks like a good book. I can't wait to read it myself, honestly.
Yeah, all these guys are gracious enough to give us their interviews, their stories. We got a lot of wild stuff coming up, and we've been busy, man. We've been busy.
Big time, yeah. And so, yeah, it was nice of him to invite us out. So we look forward to actually being there to support him, and we love doing that, supporting local people or anybody pretty much. You know, it's like that's kind of what we do. So that's going to be at the Twig at the Pearl.
Let me give you that correct where everything's at there. That is going to be at 306 Pearl Parkway, Suite 106, San Antonio, Texas, 78215. For y'all locally who want to come and attend that, and maybe just come check us out. There's another guy from The Apprentice that's coming out.
Right, yeah.
I say The Apprentice, but there's something more technical. I don't know if he's going to be a guest also out there. It's going to be awesome, man. All these people, they were really gracious to give us their stories, and they were awesome. So you guys are in for a treat for Halloween. We've been busting our ass, so if you haven't heard us, that's what we've been working on. And David, man, he's come through. Tell us, Dave.
Oh, man, yes. The big news. Drum roll here, guys. So, as you may have seen our trailer, movie that we were working on.
1979.
I know. This is the embarrassing part that I have to start off with first. We started to record a movie called Marianne O'Neill, which was based on a true story that happened to Rob and myself when we were kids. Of course, we, do like every movie does. They kind of add more to it and make it juicy, but the core of it was actually real, where, we found a number and, we started calling it. I think we put it in the podcast, too. I don't remember which episode it was.
It was way back. It was one. I gotta look that one up.
Yeah.
It's like 4 or one of those.
I think it was 4, as a matter of fact. I think it was episode 4. But anyhow, so we were working on the movie for the longest time. We do have a trailer out there. It says coming summer of 2018.
Fall of 19.
Yeah, I know.
Christmas 2020.
Well, we do have an official date of the release of that horror short film. It's about 12 minutes maybe. And it's going to be released on Saturday, October 26th this year. And it's going to be the weekend right before Halloween. We're going to release it on YouTube and probably Vimeo as well. And tonight with us, we do have some of the young kids that came out. So, well, here's the thing too, I guess. We don't have a lot of nephews around the age group that we're looking for in the film. So we used our nieces and family and stuff. So
that's more of a chick flick.
Yeah.
It's called Marianne O'Neill.
Yeah, it's called Marianne O'Neill.
Yeah, with our own
but-
Jasmine being the
Marianne O'Neill.
Marianne O'Neill,
Yeah,
yes.
so Jasmine played Marianne O'Neill, but then we also got yeah.
I'm really a toss-up between Ian and Jasmine.
You know, honestly, all I did was like sit there because I couldn't even do the voice. That was.
I know the
that
voice
was
isn't even you. It was me. You could see her mouth moving one way, and I'm in the background.
Oh, yeah.
You can see me.
David.
Yeah, I'm over Mr. P.W.
I
Herman.
couldn't get it right, so David's like, you know what, just do me a favor and just don't speak. I was like, okay.
You just have one line, Jasmine.
I couldn't
Marianne
do it.
O'Neill. No,
You know,
I'm just
I wasn't there, y'all were there.
kidding. But we do have the kids that played in here. We'd like to introduce them. What's your name, young lady?
My name is Nina and I played Davida.
My name is Sissy and I played Jamie.
My name is Kennedy and I play Roberta.
We also got somebody else here. What's your name, young man? Riot.
And who did you play?
Who did you play? Say your name.
Ryan is the kid. He comes out as the kid.
That was his
He was an awesome kid too. Did an awesome job. Come on,
Yeah.
Ryan. Tell us what your name is, buddy.
My name is Riot,
Who did you play?
the kid.
That's
The kid, that's right.
Hands down. I mean, everybody in this film, including our other nephew, my grandson Christian. Everybody in this
He's
film.
old now.
Yeah,
He's old now.
Yeah,
at
he's doing
homecoming.
important stuff. Like he's actually.
Yeah, no, he's old now. He's like
at a
2 years
homecoming,
older.
A football game with what is those corsage and
Yeah.
stuff. They all did a fantastic job. Everybody, Dave, man, you did a fantastic job on the editing.
I did a good job with my moral support, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh man, we couldn't make it without this. Yeah, and, like,
And Dad, you did a
Yeah.
good job.
Yeah,
I
Robert.
just
Yeah.
played the fat guy. That was easy.
Robert played the
They
father.
promised me
Yeah, you did a
food.
good
I said, yeah, it's like, yeah, you do your best. You get this Twinkie. But I cannot wait because some of the stuff is hilarious. We do it the RMP style, you know.
We actually did, yeah. That's exactly
We
right.
did, and the thing
Especially
about
with the late release.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, late release, yeah.
Yeah. Y'all have to wait for us. We don't wait for y'all. No, the thing is I gotta kind of mention this part too because kind of like when we were at the Paranormal Fest, I had to explain how not only are we giving you scary stories, but we're making you laugh. And the thing about that is, I guess it goes back to like when we get scared and we still do that laughing thing that just makes us more uncomfortable about telling the stories.
It's a coping mechanism.
Yeah, it is. It is actually. We all have a blast doing this. The beer helps a lot.
Really just let us be your coping mechanism.
Yeah,
There you
and
go.
we have a blast doing it. And like I said, we've been extremely busy, starting from September 1st.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
It just doesn't happen overnight, so just bear with us. But we are always doing this for y'all. This is just for y'all because we love you guys so much. We've had so many great stories coming in, and we met people that knew us actually at
Yeah,
the
that was pretty cool.
That was awesome.
the Paranormal Fest, RP
Yeah.
Fest.
Yeah.
That knew us. I wish, man. One day.
One day.
One thing we do stress is just keep those stories coming, man. They've been so awesome. And we got some doozies tonight.
Yeah. Oh, did we mention the Paranormal Fest when that's coming out too? The episode.
No,
Yeah, we
no.
didn't even say that. So that's coming up too. That's going to be right after the Halloween episode. Those will be next. The stories that we recorded from the Paranormal Fest. We got so many stories.
Where did that come from, Dave? Where were we at doing that one?
Ooh.
Oh man, we were at the Black Swan Inn. Man, Victoria's Black Swan Inn. Beautiful place. And that's where they had
Free
this.
beer for us.
I know.
Beer.
So
And
hot,
that's
so-
for us. And who was
Right.
and everyone else? The owner of
Yeah.
the that was awesome.
Joan Rivera,
Yeah.
gracious host again. Here we go, man. We
Yeah.
can't get enough of her, man.
Yeah, that
And
was
she was such
awesome.
a gracious host. We're actually close to the beer because, you know.
Yeah, I know. That's
Right
true.
behind us.
Yeah, we heard she was selling beer, and like, oh, we're setting up
What?
right here, right in back of her.
And like, what was it? They said, like, how much is the beer? Well, it's free. It's just based on tips, and that's cheap bastards. Like, what can I get with?
Hey, what did me and Jasmine come back with? We went over there and
Beer
gave her
took
like
$10.
Jasmine literally asked, well, how many can I get? And then they were like, no limits. She's like, I get 10.
Yeah, we got us like coming back loading.
10 for 2 people.
But just kind of not just shrugging her shoulders.
I don't know what is it. I really don't see the problem with it, but
You said they were free.
we love to tip.
We love to treat.
I know.
But it was awesome. It was another awesome show. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, it was cool.
I loved it. And
A lot of people were, saying they felt energy there too. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
There was like a
lot of people.
cleansing
We actually had to
person.
take-
What is it called?
yeah, to leave from there.
Yeah, what was it called?
A cleanser.
A cleanser, okay.
Is it on
A
the-
cleansing?
Yeah, there was a cleanser person
The
doing some kind of cleanser. I don't know what her name is.
What's her name?
What's her title is?
That lady from fucking Family Guy?
They had everybody then, and then we had all kinds of good stories, man. And actually, David's gonna give a really cool one tonight, and that's actually told by word of mouth because we didn't write this one down. David actually got this story, and Kory actually heard this one with him also, and he wanted to be anonymous, so we're gonna leave it that way. But God, this is a really good story. Plus, the story that you get after that is actually a crime story, which we rarely do, but we do. So, oh man, I can't wait, man.
Hey, sorry, I'm slacking, but that crime story is gonna have to be the sobering thoughts of the night.
That's what it's gonna.
All right, there you go.
Yes, I guess we're gonna do that, Ian.
I'm sorry. My dad can handle the duty. I'm sure.
That's crazy.
You know what? If we're fucking drunk by the end of the night, it's your fault.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I had to drive home. Thanks, Ian, right? I was like, no, I'll be fine. I'm gonna drink. Ian's gonna tell the story. I'll be sober. I ain't got one. God damn.
Son of a man.
But
It's your fault I drink and don't get sober.
what do you say, man?
Yeah, let's. Should we get in that first story? Or?
Let's do it.
So let's do the demons instead of moths attached to an old sweater. We can start with that one.
That's an awesome title.
I know. That's pretty long.
Demon balls.
Not mothball, the demon.
Yeah. How do you ask for those, right? You go to a spiritual store and like, not even to a cleaner, right? I was like, I don't need mothballs. I don't need those. I need demon balls. I'm like, I think you should go.
They look around and like,
go to the red light
movie.
district. Anyway, man, let's do this.
Yeah, here we go.
This next story comes to us from Peaches. She writes, "My name is Peaches. Yes, my real name. The story comes from my grandmother. My grandma is pretty well off, but has a bad habit of buying her clothes and furniture from the Goodwill. She claims Goodwill items have a story to tell. Well, she couldn't be more right. One day, she said she went shopping at the Goodwill for a sweater since the days were getting a little chilly. She hung the sweater in her bedroom closet when she got home and went about her day. While she was watching TV, she heard a crash coming from her room. Startled, she ran to her room to see where the crash came from, but didn't see anything. She went back to the living room to continue watching TV. She said 10 minutes later, she heard another crash coming from the room. So she goes back into the room, but this time checks the closet and finds her box of pictures scattered around the closet floor. She picked them up and placed them back on the closet shelf. Later on that night, she was getting ready for bed and said she kept hearing a soft metal to metal in the closet. So she opened the closet door and sees empty hangers swinging, hitting each other, making that soft metal sound, and a lot of her clothes fell off the hangers, sitting in a pile on the closet floor. She hung the clothes back up and headed for bed. A couple hours later, she woke up to a knocking at the door, frightened because she knew it was late and who would be at her door at this time of night. She said she listened to see if they would knock again, hoping whoever it was would just go away. Then she heard the knock again, but it wasn't coming from the front door, it was coming from the closet. Her first thought was someone made their way inside, but how? She lived in a small apartment complex for the retired elderly that was pretty well lit and security was always around. She knew she had to check the closet. Scared someone was going to pop out on her, she grabbed a heavy solid paperweight she had on her dresser. Walking slowly to the closet, she heard the knock again. So she put her hand on the doorknob and got ready to strike with the paperweight. She swung the door open, but no one jumped out at her. No one was in the closet. Then she saw the sweater she had bought that same day, the only thing left hanging up in the closet. She said that night she got no sleep because the knocking wouldn't stop. The next morning she got the sweater out of her closet, told it that it wasn't welcome in her home. She took it back to the Goodwill. She said she told the group of workers at the Goodwill the event of the night and handed them back the sweater. She didn't have any more problems after that night, and still to this day shops at the Goodwill.
Okay, I gotta say this before we start critiquing this story. I gotta give it up to you, Dave, Kory, and Ian. Y'all could read a soup can and make that motherfucker sound like poetry, man. I mean, seriously, I was trying to read a story earlier, and that's why I gave it up to Kory, because, well, at the time he was the only one here, and he made it sound, he made it sound, he made it sound golden. I tried to read it, man. I sound like Frankenstein reading like Edgar Allan Poe. It wasn't gonna work, man. I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
Okay. What about me?
well, you're offspring, so you know. We didn't have you reading any today, did we?
You never read to me.
You never read to me when I was a baby in mom's stomach. Hey, Jacob's over there too. He's like, I never got that either, but the knocking, guys. When they said they heard the knocking, first of all, what's a golden rule?
Don't be buying stuff like that from any place, man. I don't know. I just
It
like
happens,
used clothes.
right?
Don't buy secondhand.
Or don't be surprised.
Yeah, don't be surprised, because I really do go to yard sales, and I've been to Goodwill and.
I mean, the underwear I'm wearing are from Goodwill.
Yeah, well, the only bad thing about that is because you do get a human residue.
It's shit. There's shit in my underwear. It's not my shit.
I thought that was just a pattern. This splash pattern. Anyway,
Hey, but they were cheap.
they were Calvin Klein, so they were only $1. I don't even know. They're Versace. They're $1, so I'm like, I bought them. Fuck it, they had a stain, but it's all right.
Rob, when did you see my underwear? How do you know I'm wearing those?
But that's what I'm saying is like, if you buy something like that, what was it? Just a sweater?
Man, a
That's what I'm
sweater.
saying. Was it like an expensive sweater? Like, I wonder if it was like a knitted sweater that somebody made.
Yeah, or even just one that she likes. Like, oh, that's a pretty sweater. She buys it. But what is?
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Huh?
You got a microphone.
Discussing sweaters?
Yeah, really, really hard sweaters that like they've been starched up really bad.
Jake, this ain't gonna work. Y'all look like twins down there.
I mean, well, his dad is my dad's brother, and his mom is my mom's sister.
Nah.
So I mean, there's bound to be some similarities. at some
Twilight
point.
shit going on over there.
We should start kissing.
Y'all fucking work together. If you were to come back and want something, what would it be?
If I was,
Yeah, like if you were to have to be attached to one thing, what would it be?
I don't know. It depends, man.
You're the leader.
Me? Man, to be attached to one thing?
Yeah.
Am I being eaten or am I eating? That's what I want to know.
It can't be a sandwich.
I don't want to be a sandwich. I want some fat ass's stomach and then making my way out of his digestive system. No, man. That's
What about
not.
you?
That's not heaven.
If I could be one thing, if I can come back.
Oh
and be
God,
one
it
thing-
depends whose
No,
butt
like
is
be
going in,
attached to
right?
one thing, like say your laptop, and then
Oh,
like
right.
you're hunting whoever has your new laptop.
I don't know. Laptops go out pretty quick, so I don't know. Like they're ready. They downgrade pretty fast. And I
A
don't know.
dragon.
No, not
I'll be a dragon.
Fantasy, right?
I'll be a dragon, right?
I don't think.
What would
I
Why
don't
are you
think-
coming at us with these crazy questions?
Well, it just said
What would you
like.
be?
No, not what would I be. What would I be
Attached
attached to?
Wait,
Like
what
a
would you be?
sweater.
A guitar? A guitar
Ooh,
would be
guitar.
badass. That would
Yeah.
say the
There you go.
badass.
Whose guitar?
Electric guitar.
Be electric guitar or maybe a rocking chair, because that's what, there's always haunted rocking chairs. So why not be one of them?
Hey, you get to lounge around. Yeah, I don't have to walk that far. I just swing back and forth. Yeah, that's a good one.
I'll be like a pair of scissors or something. Cause fucking copy
Dangerous,
what it
some
is.
dangerous.
No.
I don't know. Every time I try to cut, man, they're coupons or something. Wait, no.
No, I don't know.
How about a Mercury dime? Just leading it.
Remember this hint.
Ian, what would you be?
Oh my god, I don't know.
Pokemon.
A purple narcissus?
A number 2 pencil.
A tree.
A tree.
Help the environment and people.
No.
Jacob, what would you be?
A mop. I can see that. I can see why.
Oh wait. With the question,
Am I going in the men's room? The mop?
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
How
Well.
physically attached? Like if you pass and you come back, and you like.
Like she
you're-
was attached. The ghost was attached to a sweater.
Okay, right.
I like the tree.
A tree's not bad, but why go for a single tree? Why not plural trees?
So the
Wait, no,
rainforest. Do you want to be attached to the rainforest?
A forest.
There you go.
I'm not liking these answers.
Yeah.
A volcano. I don't know. What would you want?
A volcano, good. That's good, man. Yeah, in case somebody pisses you off, you can kind of squirt at them. That's a bitch shit that can.
Lava.
I have my wife next to me. I'm gonna ask her the same question.
Slot machine.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh,
There you go.
She didn't even need to speak.
if you died and you came back to possess something, what would you be?
Like your favorite thing that you would like attach to when you die, you would come back and if somebody bought something from you, what would you be attached to?
You said it.
The slot machine it is.
We got two more. We got Landas. What would you be? Come on, Landas. He's quiet over there. Okay, Marianne came in. That's it. Here's Marianne. Marianne's my sister-in-law, and I want to get this from her.
That's our Thea.
This is Thea. So if you came back and you had to haunt something, article or item, what would it be?
What would you be attached to?
Anything.
A piece of clothing.
Lottery ticket.
Man said a maquinita.
So, a slot machine.
They're both gonna say the same thing.
She took my answer.
Both the same slot machine.
The life of luxury.
Oh, the life of luxury. That is a sweet machine. I gotta say, I gotta give it a hands up.
So just two different machines.
Yeah.
That's a different machine.
They're like this fucking
So that's the name of the
place is
machine?
super haunted. They won't shut up.
That's the name of a lottery machine.
It's a
Okay.
good machine.
Machines are arguing with each other.
I still.
What would be arguing with each other?
A
Right,
dragon.
when one goes
I'll
off,
come back as a dragon. Breathing fire, man. It feels
We're not
like.
coming back as something.
If I had to hunt something?
Yes,
Wait, I
you
wanna
don't,
know
you
what
don't
Jacob
own a
said.
dragon, so nobody.
He said a mop in the men's room. Mop in the men's room. I don't know what that is. A mop in the men's room. I don't know what that's about. I have to talk to him
You
later.
said a jockstrap too, right?
It's a kilo deal jockstrap.
A jockstrap.
Oh,
So I have to hunt something, right? So I have to hunt something.
An item.
I said
A dragon, man.
Something real. How can you hunt a dragon?
I'll hunt a dragon. I can come back and hunt a dragon.
Nobody can go back. Nobody can go
I
buy
live
a
in
dragon.
China. China, they believe in that shit. I'll be a dragon in China. Hell yeah.
How to haunt a
Well, I
dragon.
mean, cause I could dream. If not, man, for real, realistically, I'd probably come back as a hippopotamus. I mean,
Not come back. He'll be reincarnated.
or even hunting. We're gonna. Hey, who's up next, Rob? He's hunting a hippopotamus. That's my life. But I wanted to be a dragon. They're telling me the same shit. There's no dragons.
A hippo, rhino, elephant. I mean,
Dude, come on, man. Be realistic. You're coming back as a hoof. Okay, hippopotamus.
Okay. Woolly mammoth. You said there's no dragon. Where'd the woolly mammoth go from?
But okay, yeah, we're making fun. Come on, we really are. You know how we like to play, but here we go back to the real realization of this is the knocks. She didn't get into how many knocks that they were given. Remember, we all know how if it's demonic, the three knocks are the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
She said they were constantly all night. She didn't say that. She couldn't sleep.
But the thing is, like, she got rid of it and went away right away, which was lucky for her that she gave it back because she didn't have no more problems, which is awesome.
Did she return it back
Yeah,
to them?
she gave it back to him.
She told them, the workers, why.
Yeah, but that's kind of crazy because now somebody else is gonna resell it. They're like, man, okay, let's make
because
$2
you know
on
damn
this.
well
Again.
that's what Goodwill did. They just hung it back up. We'll sell it for $2 more.
Yeah.
Why
you
did they
know.
experience anything there at the Goodwill?
That's true. That's kind of dangerous. That is kind of, you know.
They really should have gotten rid of it. But
If the workers had any kind of heart, maybe they did. But you know, man, it's Goodwill.
Yeah.
Man. We got to make some money.
yeah.
It's not Texas Dollar Trip, it's Goodwill.
That's Versace.
Versace sweater.
But that's what I'm saying is, I mean, God bless it. Everything worked out good, so that's good.
Yeah.
But that just kind of gives you a little, kind of just be careful what you get. And it's hard to say because I know me and my wife love to go to the yard sales. I love it, but we don't know what we're bringing back, you know.
That's
so
true.
Especially
you
like
have to be
estate
careful.
sales.
Oh,
And-
man.
yeah.
Reasons why there's an estate sale.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what, Corey? That's a good point. But and then on top of that, this is Goodwill. I mean, everybody buys from Goodwill. Yeah. So like, you know,
a lot of the times, the clothes, you figure they're probably coming from people that have passed on too. I mean, I'm sure a big chunk.
But that's weird because it was clothing. I think this is the first time we got something with clothing.
Yeah.
Well, not all the time. I guess it could be.
Well, there was the hand dryer a few episodes ago on that.
Yeah.
The dragon?
The pilot.
Oh, no, wait, sorry.
The pilot gas station. Well,
Yeah, the hand. Okay, yeah. Why would you hunt that, man?
Yeah, why a hand dryer? And actually, you know what? I mentioned the mercury dime earlier, but that was kind of going into one of the stories. Hopefully, we can record that one, or one that Mom had told us about. It's something to do with the mercury dime being haunted.
Yeah,
that's
you know
something
what?
else.
We'll probably get more into that one because that one actually, man, David lining them up with his movies, man.
The
so
video
that's
productions.
Anyway, good story, man. Awesome story.
That was cool.
Peaches.
Peaches. That was Peaches. Yeah.
Peaches, awesome story, man.
That was cool. Yeah.
That was some awesome names we get named. Ladybug, Peaches, Hortensio. Man, we got it going on, man. All right.
Anybody got?
We do towards the end because you got to give that other one. Let's go to the next one.
Just do it. I guess this one is going to be the Satanic Ritual in the Park.
Oh, that one's scary.
It's a good one.
Hi RMP, my name's Margie. I live here in San Antonio. My husband and I love listening to y'all. Robert, you remind me so much of my own husband. Funny, and he loves his tacos in the morning before work too. But all around a loving guy. Yeah, I was gonna say, does he get the fat sweats like Rob too? Just kidding.
Tell us his weight and then we'll speculate.
Sorry. I don't know that you can call this a ghost story, but it was a frightening experience. Living in San Antonio, I know you guys know of the Espada/Aqueduct Park and the Aqueduct Beer Garden. I hope I'm saying this stuff right.
No, you're right.
Where supposedly you can hear and see the donkey lady at night. Unfortunately, my story isn't of the donkey lady. Man, that's too bad. Sorry. One weekend, my husband decided he wanted to throw a cookout with the few family members at Espada Park. It was already late at the time we started cooking, maybe about 4 p.m. We stayed way past the curfew time, drinking, eating, and just enjoying our day. It was already dark out and no one was around when we started hearing chanting and a light beating of a drum. It sounded for a good while, then stopped. Then we heard what sounded like a lot of people whispering. It was all around us. And then it just stopped. My brother-in-law, being the crazy one, went to his truck and got his big flashlight and started walking into the wooded area. Nobody else wanted to go with him, and we kept telling him not to go because our first thought was a cult of some kind. I began to worry because he was really walking deep into the woods where you couldn't see his flashlight anymore. Then all of a sudden, we heard this horrific woman scream that seemed to echo for a minute. That scream got all of us standing up. We started calling for my brother-in-law, but he wouldn't answer, so my husband told me he was going to look for him. There were only 7 of us, whom 4 of us were females, and the only other male was a 17-year-old kid, besides my husband and brother-in-law. So of course I told him I would go with him, looking for something to protect ourselves other than plastic ware and a tong. My brother-in-law's wife handed us a mini pocket knife and a small mace can from her purse. She was 6 months pregnant, so she couldn't go with us. We got maybe 15 feet into the wooded area when we see a flashlight moving around all over the place. Then my brother-in-law comes running, and I mean running. He's yelling at us, "Go, go, go!" We start running back towards our table, and my brother-in-law is yelling, "Get in the effing car!" We're trying to grab our belongings and throw them into the back of the trucks. My brother-in-law is yelling at us, leave it, get in the trucks." We get into our trucks. My brother-in-law's wife's brother, who is the 17-year-old boy, jumped into the back of his truck. My brother-in-law is hauling down this dark road, my husband hauling behind him. The whole time I'm worried that this kid is going to fall out of the truck. He's being tossed everywhere. All of a sudden, we see my brother-in-law stop and he's flashing his lights on and off. My husband gets out of the truck thinking he's calling him. He starts walking over to his brother's truck. Then we see all types of headlights on us seem to be coming from some very huge monster-like trucks. My brother-in-law starts to honk. I smell like cigarette or something. Oh, okay. I was like, where did that come from? Sorry.
It smells like cigarette in a bad diaper.
I thought he was going to say worse. It smells like ass. He never curses, right? Damn, I'll be back, guys. Shower.
My brother-in-law starts to honk his horn like crazy. I see my husband running back to the truck. We heard loud engines roaring. They just stood there, blazing their engines every so often. The young boy that was behind the truck came running to get into our truck. The crazy part is all of us had cell phones but didn't think to call the cops. I guess from fright or confusion of not knowing what's going on. I would say maybe 10 minutes later, but what seemed like an hour, they turned off all the lights and you see them slowly driving away. One turning to the left, the other turning to the right with their lights off. Then my brother-in-law hauls it again. We finally get out of the park and to a gas station. My brother-in-law jumps out of the truck and puts his hands on his knees, face white as a ghost. Everyone got off the trucks, all talking at once, like what just happened. All my brother-in-law kept doing was shaking his head. We all went our separate ways to go home. The next day, my husband went to go see his brother. His brother claimed to have been witness to a female getting sacrificed, people with hooded cloaks, and a naked female laying face up, tied at the hands and feet. He said he saw the knife come down on her. That explains the chanting, the demon sounds, and the female scream, but it didn't explain the whispering that was all around us. We never called the cops and haven't been back since.
Now, I find this kind of hard to believe because she said that her husband reminded her of me.
He must be one stud, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, she said he was running, so I was like, I find that kind of hard to believe.
No, he wasn't running. He was. She said,
hauling ass.
He was hauling ass. He was hauling ass.
No, that was her brother.
She did say
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's her brother-in-law.
Yeah, she said he was trotting. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Rumbling. Well, you like the tacos like me? Hell yeah. I cannot make it through the day without them tacos, man. Damn. Actually, this is kind of crazy because there was a problem back in the 80s with it wasn't only Espada Park, it was just like everywhere. Applewhite Road, you name it. They had that same story with Satanic Rituals and stuff like that.
It's weird because I remember the aqueducts being an issue too, though, right there in that area. In the Espada, I remember that, man.
Aqueducts just sounds creepy.
It does, actually. It was just creepy. All in all, man, it was creepy. And people were like, don't go back there because they do Satanic Rituals back there. It's like, okay.
And you think about it, that's bullshit, but like, you hear shit like this and it makes you think, this shit is really happening. Yeah, man, they remind me of us.
Wait, y'all went and stabbed a woman in the forest?
No, nothing like that, yeah. No, but starting our barbecues at like 6 o'clock at night when it's about to close. Yeah, like, the chicken's not done. Yeah, so sorry. That's what they're But that shit was real, man. When she was saying this, it reminded me of a story that Mom told us. And it was out towards Espada Park. It was a place where I think Dad was born. I think it was called Orange City. It's right outside of Espada Park. It's been around forever. It's supposedly an old city, but it's San Antonio still, so it's weird. And what it was is that Mom told me one time, Dad wanted to go, and this is in the middle of the night. They were drinking. It was him, and I think it was Uncle Lencho, my uncle. Your uncle too, Dave.
Yeah. Oh yeah, mine too. Yeah.
And it was Mom though, and they went out to a graveyard to go see where my uncle and my dad's dad was buried, my grandfather. Yours too, David.
Technically, you'd be their great-grandfather.
No, it's our grandfather, and it would be probably Jacob's great-grandfather. Yes.
Only Jacob's, not mine.
Yeah.
Not even.
Well, yours too.
Technically, he's my great-grandfather-in-law.
But it was an older cemetery, and they went out there, and it was like, I guess it was like in the middle of like. Out there's dark, and they found the place where my grandpa was buried. And the thing is for some reason, it's just straight out of a horror movie. They told Mom, hey, just stay in the car, we'll be back, because they were drinking. Mom's like, okay. And so she's waiting in the car. And it was a truck. And so Mom said that she was waiting in there. I remember her telling me this. This is back in the 80s too, Dave.
Yeah, I think I remember this story.
This was back in the 80s, man. And she said that they came back and they were frightened. Dad never really talked about shit like that, but he's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of freaky. It was weird. All of a sudden, she looks in the rearview mirror and she sees people outside standing by the truck. They're behind it, like maybe a good 10 feet. Behind the truck is like two people. And she's like, what the shit? So she goes and she starts honking. And they're looking at her like, hey, what are you doing, man? You're honking. We're trying to find Grandpa's tombstone. So they finally find it, and she says she looks to the right, and there's more people. And they're just standing there, watching the truck. She said it finally reaches something like 11 people out there, and they're around the truck, and that she's honking like crazy. So Dad's getting pissed off, like, what the fuck, man? So he goes over there, and he sees the people. So him and Lencho, they go run to the back of the truck, and they're pulling out iron, and, the tire irons, and they're like looking at him like, órale puto, vamos. But like there's a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
And they're just standing there looking at them. And this is at night. This is somewhere in the vicinity of maybe going like 2 o'clock in the morning because they were drinking.
It's all near the aqueducts, right?
Yeah, all that shit was exactly. Yeah, it was out there towards Espada Park on that. And they're watching them. So they jump in the car and they haul ass. They don't do nothing, but they're just standing there watching them. And there's people just coming out of the woodworks just watching them. I mean, what is that? This is a little different, but kind of the same. Because they're just crazy people that live out there. I guess, I don't know, like, maybe they were selling tamales or something. I don't know. But, y'all guys want to buy tamales? But I don't know, why would you do that? her telling me, she shook up all of them.
That was trip though.
And like that's just weird because crazy shit happens out there.
To me, it's almost like two different fears, man. Like, okay, paranormal and ghosts and stuff, that's scary in one way, but then you see that this is real life. This is real world.
Like, they'll
life.
sacrifice your ass.
These aren't ghosts, man. These are people that are, like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you know, it's like, oh, look, we got a big one there. If I was out there,
we'll be good for 3 harvests.
3 harvests. Harvests are coming in for a whole year, a whole 10 years.
We just sacrifice a female. Just fucking put a wig on him, man.
They're gonna be full for months, man. But that's what I'm saying. That's crazy. And we're laughing because I'm not saying it didn't happen. They're telling us this. We go with another murder story.
I
don't know how to take this one, but
I know. Yeah.
I can only imagine what they felt, man. Yeah. Did they live there chicken and barbecue behind?
I know.
Seriously, if somebody was getting stabbed,
Hey, you used to take a Espada Park, right?
Yeah. But it was during the day. I mean, we had a reasonable barbecue time, man. I didn't fuck around when it came to barbecue and finishing.
But you know, speaking of going at a reasonable time, I don't know if you remember this, Rob, but one time we went. It was a long time ago with Mike when we were younger. And we were just walking around out there in the aqueducts area right there, same thing in Espada, and we were kind of knee deep in the woods.
It was by the waterfall.
Yeah, there was a waterfall in the same area. It was that same area, and that's the same thing. I remember thinking because I had already heard that before, like don't go too deep in the woods, then because they do sacrifice it. But we did, and we ran into this one dude. It was weird. We turned a corner, and some guy had a shotgun with him. Back then, maybe he was hunting.
He was
I don't
standing
know.
Like towards the top of the waterfall.
He was on top. Well, it was a hill, I thought, or maybe
It wasn't even a waterfall. It was more like a stream. That was
it was like a stream. But anyway,
but we found that place. It was like secluded. It was hidden.
Yeah, it was kind of out there. It was way out there. But yeah, he just popped up, and I just remember yelling "gun!" we all started yelling "gun!"
Like cops,
running back.
Guns. We just ran.
Yeah, we just started running. The guy could have just been like I said, hunting or something.
He could have been racist.
Yeah, he just looked at us like, "What?" You know, he didn't.
Racist. Oh, I gotta keep these beaners off my.
Where the damn Satanist? I'm gonna shoot him.
That's what I'm saying though, because really he didn't screw with us though. He didn't. He just kind of
do anything.
Like gun. He was looking around. He was cocking his gun. Where?
No, I just saw a gun and got scared.
No, but I remember that. And
I guess.
Don't Satanists use like knives?
Yeah, that's the thing too, because they think they're badass until they run into that mountain.
That's probably why you had a gun, right? You're like,
yeah, you know, I run into sacrifices all the time. I take my gun. They only have knives, but
the thing I was probably scarred too from when I saw that gun, man. I turned in jet from when we were little kids. I don't remember this, Rob. When we were younger, lived in the red apartments.
Oh,
there was a little,
The pond?
No. There was a little kid that. No, this is another story. There was this other kid in the neighborhood. He had a BB gun, and man, he thought he was it, man. He thought he was a cop or something. He was playing cops and robbers. I don't know how old I was. I was maybe 7 or 8. And but no, he like tied my hands behind my back, and he's like, yeah, I know. And I was scared, dude. You know, and you were there too, because he had me.
you didn't do nothing?
No, because I was a little pussy.
Rob said, "Let's take him to."
I just agreed. I was just like, yeah, put your hands behind my back, yes, sir.
That's what it was.
And I was probably bigger than that motherfucker. I was just like, yes, sir. And then the tie, they're like, no, that's not a correct knot to tie. You know, I can get out of these. You know. I remember that motherfucker. That was out there.
How old was he?
It was at the red apartment.
He was like 16. We were like 17.
28.
How old were you?
We were kids, man. I mean, we were like maybe 9 or 10.
Yeah,
man.
we were little kids.
He was a little bastard, man.
And he was 16?
Yeah, I think he got busted for something.
Yeah, he was probably a serial killer now.
No, because I knew his brother. I didn't get off to his brother that much either.
Probably a serial killer family.
They try that shit right now, I guarantee I'll put my hands behind my back.
I ain't messing with no BB gun.
Did he shoot you?
No,
he didn't.
You know
I knew he wasn't going to.
You just fucking have it to your head.
But I was crying. I was actually crying, man. I was scared, man, because he was pointing the BB gun at me like he was really gonna shoot me.
But you know what, though? You know what? Yeah, but that was our fault because David, that guy was a politician here in San Antonio.
Is he really? He's a politician?
He was.
Or was? Oh.
He got busted for corruption. His last name was Martin. That's all I can give.
Castro?
No, his last name was Martin. That's all I can give.
Okay.
But he got busted for corruption. Fuck him, man. That's good. They're tying his hands behind his back. Excuse my language, everybody here, but that motherfucker deserved that, man. I'm only gonna give high five to that guy whoever's behind him.
Tying the knots on it.
Put money on his books.
Yeah, it's like you like tying up people, huh? You like embezzling people. That's what it was. He got busted, and it was a true story. That was a true. He was a politician. He became later. And it came back and it bit him in the ass. And literally. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, look at him now, man. Yeah, he is, man.
I feel better now.
Yeah.
I feel better now.
Yeah, we're talking. Yeah, he's getting raped in prison. Oh, I feel better already.
Dave's like, ooh, shoot.
Yeah, because he was one of those guys that couldn't stand up to those motherfuckers. And we're laughing about it.
So that was
Well,
just one
fuck him,
day,
dude.
or did y'all keep going back?
No, it was like 2 hours.
2 hours? That's like a hostage situation.
We went home and told mom, and she was like, "Well, you shouldn't be over there."
Amber alert already.
Y'all were there for 2 hours, tied up.
Well, it was outside though, I think though. That was outside, so I guess it was a little safer.
Where were his parents?
I don't
Oh,
know.
they weren't there, man.
He was just playing like cops and robbers to him. That's what he was.
I mean, if he
doing.
He's 16.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe he wasn't then. I don't know.
Yeah.
His stepbrother when he was like, why are we gonna go the long way? We can just cut through this part. He's like, oh, you asked for it. We're gonna go. That was Rob. Why are we going the long way? Let's go through.
We didn't take that way no more after that.
David, you asked for it.
I knew him though, like personally.
Think so.
Yeah, we saw him after that. It was I know the I went to school with the brother.
Anyway, we went way off course there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm kind of
Yeah, you know
I
what,
really
yeah.
want to know more, but
I do too, but I don't think.
No, there was no fondling. No, we were fully clothed. we were.
Clothes stayed on.
we never asked you that. But
Promise we were.
I think, if I remember correctly, he was just trying to find things to do, like, well, okay, we'll stand over here. You know, like, oh, you're my prisoner. You know, things like that. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, right? And then he didn't know what to do next. Like, well, stand over here. You know, like, go ahead and stand. You know,
can you imagine Ian being held hostage by somebody like that's
That's
like
different now, man. You probably would have fought back.
right? Fucking going
That's
through
the thing, dude. That dude would have got it. He was not an intimidating person. To us, he was because we're kids. But he tried that with another 16-year-old. He would have been the one tied up, man.
Are y'all sure y'all don't have any like repressed memories from that day?
Man, you know what? We've been through so much.
Obviously he does because he was scared of the fucking gun.
Well, we've been through that shit all our life, man. We got people chasing us in vans, and you know we've been. I mean, back in the '70s, it was not fun, man.
Out of all the shitty stories y'all told, I think that was the worst.
Really? You think so?
I thought it was like a minor threat.
Brick under the thing? Nah. I don't know, nothing.
Putting
But
sticks under his gas or brake
Some of
pedal.
the things you
This is
said,
like fucking sad.
Yeah, it's making y'all mad too. But you know what though? Like if we catch that bitch now, it's a different story, man.
He's gonna tie it up again.
Yeah, maybe inviting it, man. Walking by his house in little shorts. Hey, this, yeah, does Martin still live around here? He's like shooing me away. Hey, I'm not that same kind of guy, man.
He's got the same BB gun, but he's using it. Get off my lawn!
Get out of here. No, man, shoot me. I dare you. Where's your rope? Where's your rope?
Hey, so back to earlier. Rob wants to come reincarnated as his BB gun.
Yeah. But yeah, that dude, that was a good part about it. It was a feel good story because I remember reading that. I said, this is the motherfucker that tied us up one time.
Every time you say that,
I was like, look, this is in the news. Right? Like he got busted. He got busted
For
too.
tying
Man.
up kids.
No, well,
I'm gonna find the Facebook article and be like, he tied my dad up one time. My uncle. He tied my dad and uncle up one
Yeah,
time.
look at that dude. Look at him now, though, man. Shit, he came out with a loose cornhole now, man. I didn't do it. He did it to himself, man. So, but let's get back to this. Getting back to the Satanic Rituals. That shit did go on back in the 80s because we were always hearing about that. And you know what's weird, Dave? Either they're not reporting it or they're not catching it. But like,
Or maybe they are reporting it, but somebody high up is in that shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because nobody's saying anything about. But how? This is what I'm saying. This is just not our family that knew about it. Everybody knew about it. Yeah. Everybody knows. And these people that ran into that stuff. I mean, Espada, come on, man. Back in the 70s, it was a family place to be. I mean, it was a nice spot. You know, it was nice. But there was kind of fucked up shit that happened at night, though. There were really was. There were murders and other kind of bullshits. Yeah. And we were saying, like, maybe not only Satanic Rituals, but
I'm sure there's like gang shit that happened there too. I mean,
probably, but man, I'm just saying, man, even them too, maybe they were afraid of.
We do this gang stuff.
But let's
have a gang meeting, but we gotta be gone.
Yeah, we gotta be gone by 4. Like, but I'm barbecuing.
How did like all this stuff go on and like everybody knew about it? Nobody like stopped it. Like nobody was able to like.
It's the 70s, man.
Because not only that, because it was just somebody saying this. Because this lady's telling us, I believe her. I know everybody on this table believes her. But if you go tell a cop that, like, you know, well, we don't have a body, we don't have any kind of evidence. You're just saying these people in these 4x4s. On top of that, man,
right?
You know, the monster trucks going after them. You know, they ran out of gas. You know, they only go 4 miles. You know, the full gas. You know, full tank. But
I thought they like
they just pulled off on the side.
They just hovered.
But that's the thing too, man. If somebody's running at me and saying run, and there's barbecue, I don't know which way I'm gonna go. I don't. I was like, do I run toward the barbecue? Run! You're gonna die. I was like,
are you fucking gonna catfish and shit? Take me as tribute.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering,
what's his last name, Martin?
Right, I volunteer.
The thing too is that they didn't follow him all the way they were going, and that poor kid in the back of the truck.
Oh my
man,
God, I know.
Like, I don't want to be sacrificed either, but I'm about to, he's holding on for dear life, man. Like,
that's crazy. And what's crazy is we actually went through that time, that era where we knew crazy things happened.
We heard about shit like that. Well, we were talking about that earlier, weren't we? About the true pagans and the Satanists that they come out in suit and ties and they're nice.
Oh, that's right.
Ian said they were nice.
Well, just like somebody that I know was telling me, is like, yeah, apparently they're not all like bad people or whatever.
It's like any other religion or
they're just bad people, I guess. And
but see, he's not lying, because I've heard that also. Yeah. Like they're calm, their demeanor's calm, and they're just talking.
They're
like
very respectful of others.
Yeah, they're like, okay, well that's your thing. You like religion, we like Satan, and they're like, you know, you'll sacrifice. No, that doesn't go on. You know, we just do our rituals and stuff like that.
Then they're like, why? You want to be sacrificed?
Yeah, no, but until you join them, right? You know, hey, you guys do seem pretty nice. You join them, and the next thing, you know, we need you to put these fish hooks in your nipples. And,
I already got them.
I was like, wait a minute. We're talking about religion also, because I don't want to get into that either with, you know, the Satanists or the Pagans or whatever you have, you know, that's their deal, you know. But back in the 80s, it was kind of scary, man. We were kids and they were talking about sacrificing and stuff like that. Nobody wants to be around that. And I do kind of believe these people here, man, that they may have saw something that was kind of fucked up, which is kind of trippy too, man. Here we go with another part, with another murder that we have to deal with.
Well, we still talked about the other one, but
yeah, that one I don't want to bring up no more, man.
Well, but I want to know. Now, I'm not being accusatory here or like judgy or whatever, but why didn't y'all call it? Why didn't they call the cops afterwards either? Like, I know they said at the time that they were too scared to, they didn't think about it, but like afterwards, you think, like, I mean, even if, you know, you're worried about being believed or not, like, you know, because the brother-in-law saw somebody die, I mean, you should report it, I would think, even if it's like you're worried about nobody believing you. Like,
because
who knows? Maybe there's some evidence left over.
But yeah, that's true. There might be blood or something on the rock if he could still find where they were at the aqueducts. This is my thing. They either not gonna believe you. You know, you say, hey, well, they were there and we were barbecuing. And, you know, I didn't get to eat my chicken. They were over there killing people. I had to run. I left my barbecue pit there. Well, go back and show them where your barbecue pit is left there. Well, yeah, you know, back then it wasn't like that, man. The cops were lazier than they were. Now, I guess, I'm not talking shit about cops, but back then, I don't think they would have went up there and looked for that shit. I could be wrong, you know. And yeah, I'm talking shit to cops. I don't mean to, but that's what I'm saying. Nowadays, maybe they would, because they have to investigate that shit. But like, this is the thing that's kind of trippy, is because if there was blood, you know, but then if you get
they're either like really good at getting rid of bodies, or the cops
Or
are
they
just
got
like,
an inside thing.
yeah,
Well, because there's all
body,
kinds of
let's-
technology now that didn't exist back then.
That's true too. We're talking about you maybe get some DNA off the rock or whatever she was on, but
Because I mean, no matter what else is going on, you boil it down. They witnessed murder. You know, like the cops would have to take that seriously. You know, even if the demonic ritual or whatever. All that
Hey,
other
maybe
stuff,
somebody
the point
high
is-
up was like, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it.
yeah, maybe it was part of that crew too.
Maybe they were
You know,
trying.
but they could have their own rituals. Like, hey, we're not killing her and sacrificing this female.
Yeah, she volunteered.
Sacrificing her soul.
Even if it's
She's,
volunteered, yeah, she volunteered
She's still
to do it.
alive, but she's just laying here butt naked and she's got to drop some blood. And then
That's what they said. She was
she's
butt
not
naked. She was
dead.
butt naked, man.
She's not
But
dead.
they're
We're not
killing her, right?
Well, I don't know. They didn't really say.
Well, and then that's the thing too. Well, she volunteered herself, but if you're hearing somebody scream, man, that's I don't know.
That's creepy, man.
You know, yeah, I don't know. That's
I still don't think that's legal, even if you volunteer yourself.
yeah. Well, she volunteered, so she's fine. Yeah, that's bullshit. Because when we were talking about Applewhite, that was another Applewhite Road towards where the new Toyota was back in the day. That shit was fucking the Donkey Lady Bridge and all that we talked about.
That was trippy back then.
I didn't go that day. We used to go fishing in like secluded parts of San Antonio, Medina River, San Antonio River. We used to go to the real deepest part. You catch it there. They went to the Donkey Lady River. I think we talked about this one time. They were following a path to get to the river. They saw a dog with its head cut off. And they said the same shit there, that there was, and this was actually in the 2000s. So this shit could be happening still.
Yeah, that's true.
Goats and dogs.
Was the dog walking around?
Who told us that? Was Grandpa Larry told me that. That was my father-in-law, Jasmine's grandpa, and Jacob's grandpa, but Ian's grandpa. I had to say that too. And I got in there real quick before he almost. But
grandpa-in-law.
I didn't go because they walked into a bunch of poison ivy.
Oh man!
And I remember the next day they came back and they were all orgulloso and scratching. They had chamomile lotion all over their body. I was like, "What the hell happened, y'all? You shouldn't win." No, they didn't catch shit. They saw a dog with his head cut off, and they came back with poison ivy. Why do I want to go?
That sounds like a really inviting fishing trip.
But Margie, man, that's we don't know whether to make heads or tails of this one, and I believe you.
Next time, call the cops.
Yeah, I think so, or something. Or no, they did the right decision. Get the hell out of there, man.
Yeah, get out first.
Yeah. But that was a good story. Thank you guys so much.
Ghost in a jail cell?
Ghost in the jail cell.
All right, let's do this next story.
Is a doozy.
This story comes to us from a retired sheriff from North Texas who wanted to remain anonymous. We'll give him the name Bob, just for the story's sake. Bob and a friend of his by the name, we'll give him the name Jeff. So Bob and Jeff were working the maximum security wing. It was Jeff's turn to do the rounds and actually count the prisoners to make sure everybody was in their cells. Jeff was actually a little bit too tired, and so Bob tells us him and Jeff got into it a little bit, and Jeff was like, "Man, I'm too tired. I'm going to sit here on my chair." Bob's like, "Okay, I'll go down. I'll count the prisoners, make sure everybody's there." So Jeff's sitting up on the top, overlooking everything, while Bob goes down to count all the prisoners. So he walks down the hall, and he starts counting them. What they do on purpose, because this is maximum security and to keep people safe, he said they leave a cell blank in between each prisoner. So as he's walking down, he's counting them. 1, skips a cell. 2, skips a cell. 3, and so forth until he gets all the way to 13. He comes back down and he signals to Jeff, overlooking everything, and he tells him there's 13. Jeff looks down and he's saying, "No, He said, "That's not what we got." He goes, "It's supposed to be 12. He goes, "No." He goes, "There's 13. And so he says, "All right, you know what? Let me go down. I'll count them again." So he goes and he counts again. 1, skips a cell. 2, skips a cell. 3. This is the second time he actually sees a guy. He's not on the floor, what the prisoners used to like to do. They'd kind of mess with the sheriffs and stuff, and they'd hang up on the side of the wall to kind of try and hide. But he's like, "Nah, I see him hiding there. This guy's just being an idiot." So he continues counting, gets up to 13. The second time he saw the guy hiding, but he comes back and he's like, "All right, there's 13. He tells Jeff. And Jeff's like, "No." He goes, "You're wrong." He goes, "There's 12. And so Bob comes down. They both go over and they open up that one cell that they thought was wrong. And sure enough, there's nobody there. But Bob is like, "I swear there was somebody in there." So they went back, they looked at some of the history of that. This is later on. And it turned out that actually a man had hung himself in that cell. And that was the one guy that they saw, which turned out to be a ghost. And that guy had some great stories. It was
told him like professionally, man.
Yeah,
Like,
he
dude,
did.
This is crazy.
It was from the Paranormal Fest. And it's weird because he didn't want to be on the podcast, and we're like, well, okay, well, I mean, he didn't say not to put his stories on the air. He was cool with it, but he just like, I didn't want to hang around and record it. He just kind of told us the
It was
stories
still
on the
early
side.
on, so he probably wanted to go see.
You can hear Chicharo's.
That must have been it.
Yeah.
He wanted to go see, the rest of it.
Yeah, he wanted to go see what was going on, and
It wasn't nothing to do with that.
go get more beer and stuff too. Though he was a nice guy, though. It was cool. Yeah, he had all the. Yeah, you know what? We give him a mug too, right? I think we give him a mug.
It was his story was so good that it was sad because you guys have to tell the story. It wasn't sad because I was getting another story
Yeah,
myself at the Paranormal Fest. You kept telling me, Dave kept telling me, and Kory kept telling me, you gotta compare the story.
Yeah, we're
And
trying
I
to
said,
pull you
"Man,
over.
I can't leave this lady here. She's telling me a story. And then her story was awesome too. I saw y'all were like, dude, this dude told us an awesome
Yeah,
story.
and you know what gets me mad though is I can't remember the whole thing exactly though. I can remember parts of it. Like Kory and I were like trying to feed off each other a while ago. Yeah, like, oh wait a minute, what exactly happened? Yeah, we did want to tell this one too. I think it was better than the story than I just told right now. But it just we couldn't remember all the details, so I'm
Can
like,
you give us?
yeah, let me give you a quick rundown of what this story was. Is
It
that
was
what you were
the
gonna
same-
ask for?
yeah.
The same guy. Yeah, it was the same guy. So basically, he said, yeah, I was a sheriff, up in North Texas, and there was this one crazy thing, and it wasn't this doesn't have to do with ghosts or anything. It was just a trippy story. He was like, yeah, there was this one couple that we put them in jail.
Do you remember what they busted him on?
The original charge was, I think,
erotic asphyxiation. What did he say?
erotic asphyxiation, or
Asphyxiation. That was
Is that illegal?
well,
If someone died,
well,
maybe.
it wasn't voluntary. I don't think that's just it.
Okay.
I think right.
Oh, like, I'm gonna stop hanging myself.
It was because it was.
They kidnapped a girl. It was him and his wife, but she got away. I thought they were sexually abusing her. Is that why though? Do you
Yeah,
remember?
because he said he had heard the story from an actual
I think
survivor.
kidnap alone is kind
Right.
of like.
Yeah, I guess if you take her in a car, she doesn't
They
want
weren't
to
in
go
there
with you.
for the
I guess the noose is just.
Well, yeah. They afterwards.
The noose around your neck is kind of the cleanser right after
By the
that.
salt new
So
Yeah.
I think, if I remember correctly, I think they busted him and his wife because they had kidnapped a girl and they were holding her hostage, and I think they were.
Choked her.
Yeah, they were choking her. No, well, they were actually like forcing her to have sex and stuff like that.
Yeah.
God.
And that's what I think they originally got them for. And then when they picked them up and they threw them in jail, they're like, well, hold on. They found out they were actually digging up bodies. They were necrophiliacs, actually.
Wow.
So
What
they
the
were,
fuck, right?
I know, dude.
You
That
know,
was
like-
crazy.
Necrophilia is gross, but like
If you have to dig up a body,
that's what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like. Maybe like
Yeah,
if
open the
they're dead,
coffin.
but they haven't been buried. Not maybe. Not maybe. But what I'm saying, hold on,
yeah, well, you're talking about a
I see
body,
what you're saying. That's
a body
ugly
that's
too.
starting to decay.
but like
like,
yeah,
yeah,
one
there's
that
still some
fucking
good
has
parts on
dirt
it. You
and
just-
worms and shit. Their
Oh.
fucking body, like
That's-
But
that-
you know
that
they're in
really
the coffin,
crazy.
right? Why would they? I don't know how worms got in the coffin.
it happens. Read a
Oh,
fucking
okay.
book.
That's what I was wondering. You know what though? To be honest, I was kind of thinking the way Jasmine was too. Not that it makes a difference. Like look at me talking about.
It does make a difference.
Yeah, were they freshly dug bodies? Like yeah, I couldn't understand that.
I mean, I guess technically one's
Who
gross.
could pass a
Yeah.
freshly dead body?
Yeah,
Right.
because that's gross, man. And to go through the trouble of digging 6 feet down. Is,
Yeah.
Oh, you got to see this bitch. That's a terrible thing to say. It was. I'm sorry, but just for
But
somebody
really,
to
it's just-
have that horned out. That's how horned out you are.
But not only
No,
that,
that's like how twisted you are, because
Right.
you're like digging the whole time.
Yeah.
But it's not
we're gonna
only
be
the
here about
guy.
14 hours, but we'll be. Yeah, the guy owned the backhoe or what?
Right, I know.
That doesn't make no sense.
but it's a husband and wife team. That's what's
couple.
crazy.
yeah, she's
I mean,
the one
both of
pushing
them.
them. Come on, dear, it's your turn to dig.
Yeah, but
You know what, Dave? That's like because you have to fucking be twisted to find somebody as fucking sick as you.
That's abnormal for real.
Yeah, that's
but I
not
mean, like,
right.
whoa.
well, so they were digging up bodies, but they also,
You said that he said they were digging up bodies. I mean, this is what? I mean, we're 2019, 2018, whenever they're digging them up. They dig those bodies deep, man. With
Yeah.
the back
Some
of
fucking Victorian bodies or what?
Yeah, it's like, well, the dirt is still soft, so I was like, that don't make no sense because I'm trying to make sense of this, which is not. But I'm like, if in the 1800s, yeah, they didn't really do. Oh, you go 2 feet, you got some ass, But and I'm making light of it. That's kind of fucked up. That's kind of fucked up. But what I'm saying is,
Were they like great? Like where they were like robbing this? I'm trying.
I get he didn't really give us details. He just said that they were digging up bodies and they were having sex with them. But I think they were killing people too, though.
That makes sense.
You haven't finished the story.
Right.
No,
So there was more to it. That's just it. So I don't know if they were killing people. But as they had him in jail, he was there for a couple of weeks or whatever in the jail. But they were getting ready to finally move him over to prison the next morning. And he said, so, we got him there. We're just holding him. We're thinking, man, this guy's sick. Well, I take it back. They didn't know yet. They just thought that they had kidnapped a lady. At that time, they were like, well, he kidnapped a girl and they were doing stuff to her.
Real quick, I'm sorry, I don't remember this part. So the sheriff that told us the story, he had directly experienced this, right? Like he was.
Yeah, he was there.
Okay.
Yeah, he made sure to tell us that no, he was part of the group that was there. He says they were getting ready to switch him out to the penitentiary the next day, but the FBI came into the jail and they're like, hey, we need Mr. So and so, whatever the guy's name was. Huh?
Billy Butcherson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was his name, Billy Butcherson.
Was it for real?
No. So the FBI comes in and they're like, hey, we need this guy. Can y'all bring him to us? And he's like, dude, what's this all about? He's like, the FBI don't come to jail. I mean, that's ridiculous. They're like, well, what's going on? And like, well, we really need to talk to you. And so they started telling the story. They said, hey, him and his wife are actually necrophiliacs. They've been digging up bodies and stuff. But not only that, they said he's actually linked to, I don't remember how many murders, something like 19 or something like that, murders.
The upper end.
They said the first murder they found that he was linked to.
Both of them or just him?
No, just him. When he was like 14, I think.
So
they
we
said
know who
he
the
was.
instigator was. Man.
Yeah.
He might have even
So how many?
his wife.
Something like 19 people. It was that they know of that he was linked to. So I guess now there's DNA stuff. So they were able to finally. They went back and they said, oh, this guy killed about 19 people that they knew of. So it turned out he was actually a massive serial killer. And so they turned him over to the FBI. The FBI took him. He's like, you know what? And he goes, this is not a story that ever went public, so you're not going to find anything on the guy.
He did see that.
Of course, because that's on them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
but I
they
mean-
fucking dropped the ball on
Yeah,
all the
that's
murder.
We're gonna get visited by the
It'd be
FBI now.
It'd be crazy if
Ian.
Yeah.
So, it'd be crazy if he did this. Obviously from 14 on, he did this before his wife.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
It'd be crazy if he took her back to the grave sites of those people that he knew.
Oh no shit!
Right.
He did this too.
But
That was crazy.
that's
And that was
when he was 14 and that
They said all the way back to 14 years old. Is what he was saying.
Oh, but
Yeah.
what if they did, man? That he was date somebody like that, man? It's like
I
what
know.
dating policy?
That drives you crazy.
But that's what I'm saying. What was his profile on his love site? Like,
what was his Tinder
love
profile?
Long walks, I'm an Aries.
Long walks in the grave, just in the
like porky
cemetery.
dead people. Love Mexican food. That's I'm like, dude, what the?
But you know what? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, so was he grave robbing? Because it would make, not that I would do it, but it would make sense if they
Go back with the jewelry and stuff like that. I understand what you're saying. Let's get some gold.
Hey, there's a corpse there. Let's not let it go to waste.
Yeah, like, hey, they got a big ring and a sweet ass. Like that. We're making fun, and this is where we're coming back because I think all of us are getting creeped out. That's why
I'm
we're
trying to
saying
make
this.
sense of it.
Yeah, don't make. I know you're dying to say something,
Yeah,
Ian.
go ahead.
But how does a woman find that, Ian, attractive?
Well, okay, so one of three things I'm thinking. Either she's just happens to be just as messed up as him. Maybe there's some dead bodies that haven't been linked to her yet that they don't know about.
That could be.
Or she's just that messed up and just never killed anybody. Two, he maybe pressured her. Maybe it was an abusive relationship of some sort and he forced her to do these things or to participate. Or three, kind of related to that, maybe she was originally a victim and there was some sort of Stockholm syndrome or something like that, and she ended up falling in love with him. If he was gonna kill her or something like that, and then she ended up falling in love.
What was that? Not Ted Bundy, but the Bundys, Carol Bundy and that other guy that she was the same sick, twisted way.
Al Bundy?
Yeah, no, Al Bundy, yeah.
Peggy?
Yeah. No, ma'am. But I hear what you're saying, and that's a good goddamn point, Ian. That
What is it?
possibly could have been.
It reminded me of Devil's Reject.
I've never seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because they're both fucking. They're all demented. That's
what I was saying, but they were sucios. Okay, I don't know how to put this, man, because.
You're trying to make sense of it, because I feel like
you can't. How are you gonna make sense of that? I've got a feeling for some great ass. What do you say we go and dig up this corpse?
Ass.
Yeah, let's get some great ass. Come on. Isn't that great ass? Damn, Cory, you crazy boy.
But I remember when he was telling us, the sheriff was telling us the story, he mentioned they got it for like necrophilia, and there was another word that he said. So
Yeah, there was
it was
something else.
beyond that they were also into, and they were.
Yeah, it was more than necrophiliac. Was it S&M or no?
It's
That's not against the law.
No, it's not against the law.
I can't even say this.
Somebody sent it in if they know any other.
Yeah.
What was it though?
I don't remember. I really don't. It could have been something like, the grave robbing. It was something that was against the law that they were doing, aside from necrophilia.
That's disgusting, man.
Yeah. Man, that sounds like they can make a movie out of these people.
seriously,
Yeah, why haven't they?
They never released who it was.
Should have. That would have been a fucking million.
How many people besides us that want to read about that?
Yeah.
But
It
no,
would have
even
been.
that
It
too.
would have been. But how big
There's
Ted
some,
Bundy is.
yeah, like man, you can't even be buried in peace anymore.
Fucking.
Because you can only imagine what these motherfuckers look like too, man. When you gotta get ass and dig up a body, come on, man.
That's so weird, man.
Do you think big bone's a thing? Like being big bone?
Yeah.
They fucking dig you up and they're like, fat motherfucker.
Yeah, disappointed. They start digging, putting the dirt back. And
And they're like, why don't they put the weight on this shit? on the grave.
I hate how they don't list their weight. All this work for nothing, honey.
They probably needed the exercise. They're probably gross and fat themselves.
Oh my god.
He said it wasn't in the news or it wasn't reported.
Yeah.
Like, how many more times has this happened?
Man, no kidding, right?
Yeah. How common is that?
Yeah. I mean, even just around here.
It could be a common thing. Yeah, that's right.
crazy.
We don't even know it.
I don't know about the necrophilia, but like
It may be common. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, we just don't know it.
But like like they said, they linked so many murders to this guy. And they're just finding out about it now.
Our audience could be. How do they not like that stuff? What is wrong with
I
them?
know, right? But like it's normal.
I don't see the problem. That's why I'm saying I'm gonna be dead. I'm gonna take a shit, not wipe my ass up, man. Hey, how many?
You do shit yourself.
Yeah.
So on your
Enjoy.
fucking will.
Come on in. I will guarantee you they'll be putting more dirt on me, man. Rocks and everything. Don't go in there.
On your last will and testimony, you should say, "Don't wipe my ass after I shit myself."
I don't want nobody to be over there like, look at there. Oh God, shut it.
Bury me in my used Versace underwear.
I'm gonna go choneless in there, man. Come on, if you dare. You know what? We make fun, but that's disgusting, man. That's fucking disgusting.
That's gross stuff, man.
And how people live like that, and you know what?
They're not living. Bad thing, Chris. Like some sort of.
How do you make sense of that, man? Like, hey, honey, what do you think? It's one of those grave nights, huh?
How do you bring up the conversation to your spouse?
I would have loved to heard that first just a conversation. Okay.
One, who brought it up first?
Yeah.
And two,
That's true too. Like she may have brought it up first. Like, you know what?
She's like, "You're on to something." Yes.
Honey, I was thinking of maybe doing a little swapping.
What did you have in mind?
But they gotta be dead.
Well, since we can't trust each other, maybe somebody dead.
I know this great swingers graveyard. It's not a club, it's a graveyard.
Swingers club with dead people, though.
No, but how did she have fun, man? I mean, that guy's.
I know, right?
Do you know what? I don't want to know.
They didn't say the gender of the dead bodies, right?
No, that's true. I didn't say.
Speaking of that, I saw some news that a lady working as like an embalmer or something was locked up because she was pregnant by one of the dead bodies that she was supposed to. I don't know how true it is. It was on the internet, so it has to be true.
So it's gotta be true.
I saw it, and people were like commenting on like, what the heck?
My god, that
But how do you get pregnant from somebody that's
like,
dead? Like they don't. They can't like.
have sex.
Who knows?
It's what's weird, yeah.
Maybe somehow
But it's true
extracted
because,
it.
you're right.
On the internet.
Fuck it, man. Straight to the crematory. I don't care, man. Send me straight to the crematory.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it.
It'll take a couple of days to burn
Turn
this
me into
fat body,
ashes.
man. I'd be like,
oh man, could you imagine the disappointment of that? And they dig you up like that, and you got buried as an ashes. God dang.
that's sweaty and everything. Well, you got exercise, honey. You got a lot of exercise. That's not the point.
Urns.
Mine are 2 barrels.
Why would it be Why?
No.
Why would you say that?
He didn't say that after me, right? He said 255-gallon barrels, right? Didn't he? Here's the torso. Here's the bottom part.
I'm getting sick of you fucking talking.
I was saying, because there's a couple, they're digging something else, so it'd be too earned.
No, that's not what you're saying.
What are you talking about?
It's just gonna be one really big Earl.
Just one. Just 155 got
Just one really big Earl.
God, that's gross, but it was an awesome story.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
So that story came to us from the Paranormal Fest, and when last year when we had the Paranormal Fest, it was pretty chaotic, and we had like so many people at our booth. It was hard to actually talk to other booths, but this year when I actually got to talk to other booths, I realized it was actually like a small community of
The paranormal.
yeah,
It
like
really was.
paranormal community.
And
yeah.
we all stick together because it's hard to get somebody enough to talk about something that they've been through like that. But since it is a paranormal fest, it's easier for them to open up. I hear what you're saying, Jess.
Yeah, like I actually got to go to booth to talk to people, and
Man.
it was pretty cool. Like
It was.
especially those UFO people.
Rio?
Yeah.
They were awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's what they're called.
That's William.
William, that dude was awesome.
Down dude is totally cool.
Man, they're
Yeah.
all cool. We got a story on each one of them too.
Yeah, and then MUFON too was there. That was kind of cool that MUFON was there.
Midnight Paranormal Society was
Yeah,
there.
they were there.
We had
There was a couple of other groups, and it was
Who's that
nice.
guy right next to us?
I don't know who he
He had a
was.
big old sign and everything. He's
Yeah,
from TV, right?
Yeah, he came out on Travel Channel, I think, right? Or,
I think they were
Chris
like
Moon or
Chris
something?
Moon.
Yeah, Chris Moon. I think that's what it was. It was
Unfortunately,
mediums.
his booth was nonstop, but
yeah,
we didn't really get a chance to talk to him. But
he was right next
But
to us.
we
Rob
held
and
our
I,
own.
yeah. Rob and I walked up to him and we gave him a card. I mean, we didn't know who he was at the
He
time.
was cool, buddy. Yeah, he took our
Yeah, he
cards
was
and
cool.
stuff like that, and but we held our own.
And then there was that girl there, Sydney, which was our fan. She came up to us. She's like, "Man, yeah, I listen to y'all and stuff." And she was from another paranormal group, San Marcos Area Paranormal Society was the name of her group.
Yeah.
But she didn't really push it that much. She just said, "No, she just came out to
yeah,
come
she
check
was
us
here
out."
to
Yeah, she wanted to give her story. Yeah.
So
What
that
I
was
found
awesome.
funny is we had to tell everybody like, okay, so this is what you're getting into, you know.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I already know. I know
Yeah.
what I'm getting into. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, man.
Well, she was like the RB story. I know.
Yeah, I told her, I was like, "So you know, you may get a little
Oh, yeah,
hot."
yeah.
And she goes, "Oh,
Always
she goes, I
got
know."
diarrhea.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're listening to us, you kind of you know what we're about, and for them just being at a paranormal fest, if they've never heard about us, we have to like explain like this is what we do. We sit around
Right.
and drink, tell your story.
Yeah,
We get
exactly.
out of hand, you know.
And we always respect everybody's story, and what we get back is so much great feedback, so many awesome stories, especially at the Paranormal Fest, man. We got UFO stories, we got a cryptid story.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Man,
That's so cool.
So you guys are gonna love our paranormal stories that are coming up. It was another great Paranormal Fest Part 2, and we hope to continue these, man, because we have an awesome crew here.
Yeah,
And
again, that's going to be after our Halloween special. And the Halloween special that we were saying is going to come out on Halloween
right.
night is going to be the interviews that Rob got from a lot of different
some
people.
awesome folks, man.
So-
They were only too willing to tell their story.
And again, a couple of the other things, we'll just mention them real quick again. We're going to be at the Twig.
Oh, Ben Longoria, man.
at the Pearl.
It was awesome for him to invite us to that.
Really appreciate that. Yeah,
Yes.
he's got his book coming out.
Book signing for
The Forest Around the Hill is the name of the book, and I really want to read that. And the only thing that we do got to mention is that's fictional stories that he has in there.
I want to read some of his other books.
Yeah,
I know,
they were really awesome. He's a great guy too, man. The guy was only too willing to help us out. Our Halloween special, and I can't wait till that comes out, guys. Y'all are gonna really love this.
That's going to be cool. And then don't forget, Saturday, October 26th is going to be the release of Marianne O'Neill.
Oh,
The long-awaited
Yeah.
release.
Finally. Yeah, it's like 10 to 12 minutes. I really
It's
don't know,
worth
but yeah, it's,
Masterpieces take time.
it's a video.
Productions.
So that video, yeah, Rigor Mortis Paranormal
And more to
Productions, but and then more to come. Actually, we're gonna start working on some more. We do have one coming up called The Dime. That is, well, I say coming up. I don't know. Don't quote me on that because that's gonna be about 2 years.
It's gotta bake in the
But-
oven, nice and slow.
Yeah, that one actually is gonna be a long story, so there's gonna be a lot of work to do on that one. So we'll probably come up with some small ones in between, some short stuff. But the dime is kind of cool because that one's based on the Mercury dime that was found a long time ago when we were kids. It had something to do with the story that our mother
Another
told
real
us. But
story.
and we kind of had a little hint, and Marianne O'Neill, we kind of mentioned the dime to set that story up, which is pretty cool.
There's a little Easter egg.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
That's the word I was looking for. If you guys want to give us a listen, you're probably hearing us now. But if you want to hear us on other things, we're on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes.
iHeartRadio. We're on everything. FM radio. We're on everything. And we're not bragging. We're just so happy that we got picked up by that. And
it really helps too when you guys share our stuff. It gets our name out. So
that's exactly one thing I was gonna say. Definitely, please share us.
And our number one thing that we always asking for you guys that are listening is please send us your stories. We do want to hear them, and we will always have them out, and we will air them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like we said, we have a 99.
What is that website, David, that we can hear them at?
Yeah, the website, you can visit us online at www.rigormortisparanormal.com. We've got an email there. You can email us at rigormortisparanormal@gmail.com. On our website too, there is a submit a story button there. You can just click on that and submit the story that way. Or if you want to call us, what's that?
If you want to call us, you dial 210-901-8666. And remember, folks, that is a 3-minute call. So if you do go over 3 minutes, please call back and tell us this is part 2 of the story that you were talking about before. And we will air that bad boy. We'll edit it and we'll have it done really good.
You'll sound like a pro.
Yes.
Have you got pictures or images videos, what I meant to say? Anything, man, send it along with it and we'll post them on our website, on our YouTube channel or whatever. I mean, we can give you props.
Yeah, we'll have a really cool pic that's coming up from our Halloween one. Was submitted by Gettysburg.
Oh,
awesome.
Nice, that's right.
You can never fail with Gettysburg, man. And the guy came through, his name was Clinton. He was awesome. He told an awesome story.
We'd love for you guys to call us and give us your stories. And if you visit our website, we do have merchandise on the website now, too. We got t-shirts and buttons. And
we sent out a few shirts already,
Yeah, we sold a couple of shirts to some great people.
Got a new logo, thanks to Jasmine.
Oh, yeah, there's a new logo that's going to be on there. I haven't posted that yet. Well, by the time this is released, it should be on the website. It's pretty cool. It's like a Lone Star beer. Yeah, it's kind of like a Lone Star beer logo, but it says Rigor Mortis Paranormal on there. Like I said, it's kind of like, so we're not infringing on it.
Right.
That's right.
We did our best not to really get too close, but again, fellas, thank you all for everything. Thanks for all the stories. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being supporters. We love you guys so much. And
peace out.
Bye.
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 Bye, Jesse.
Bye, guys.
I don't need mothballs. I need demon balls.